Okay, so for today, we have 24H, the Chinese BGH team, versus Zzzero and Johnek. Players coming from the low money representation, so they're representing fighting spirits. So the first maps today will be fastest. Okay, so we're going to hop into game one on fastest here. Go straight in. Okay, so spawning in the 3 o'clock corner here, we have Zzzero, representing the, like I said, the fighting spirit team, the low money team. Zzzero, I think, is like one of the main coordinators, or like the main guy for BSL. I don't really have a lot of information on BSL. I don't really keep up with it too much yet. It's probably something I'm going to start paying more attention to here. And his teammate in the bottom left corner playing Terran is Johnek. I do know Johnek plays like a lot of 2v2 on Shield Battery and stuff. I even saw today. I was watching Jiraiya streaming and saw he was against Johnek. Created BSL. Okay. So he's like the guy. Gotcha. Spawning at 6 o'clock, we have Dahu, is what I call him. I don't know if it's Dahu Dai or Dahu D or something like that. Don't want to butcher his name too much. And his teammate, Papa, also Protoss. So it's 2 Protoss against Terran Zerg. And as we kind of know from what we've seen so far, Protoss seems to be very dominant on the fastest map. So Terran Zerg seems like it'd be incredibly difficult to play, especially against double toss. So we'll see what they go for. Typically we see a lot of just mass zealots in the beginning into like map control and things like that from Protoss. So as you can see, we got triple gate coming down for both players for 24H here. When it first got the Zerg, I mean, the Zerg did fly into our base, so we knew he was here. We see Hatch first into pool. Crazy there, I wouldn't think. I feel like, especially with a Terran teammate, I don't think you necessarily want to go early pull on fastest. Maybe if you wanted to cover him, maybe he wants to go mech or something like that. It's tough because I feel like he's going to get cannoned in. See the Forge coming down here already. And it seems like there's no getting around getting cannoned here. A pretty good pro press too. So the weak drone gets pulled off here and we immediately swap sides, so really good pro press already. Just a little bit of interruption, nothing like too serious yet, but this is like a total pain on fastest. Having workers not mining very early can make a pretty big difference pretty quick. Meanwhile, see on the other side, Zealot rallied in as the pylon's going down, so this is going to keep Johnek inside of his base worried about Zealots potentially as cannons are coming down. Also means if like Marines were out here, then it would at least push the Zealot or the Marines back, buying more time to get your cannons up. So I was more just kind of checking, and he also saw the like barracks and everything like that, so he knows against bio. So with it being a bio opener, he knows that this is going to hold the Terran in for a very long time already. Meanwhile, Zzzero going up to 4 hatch. We've started link production here. A bunch of Zealots already coming, and with no sunken, it's going to be pretty tough to hold here on just link production alone, because we're against 6 gateway production Zealot right now. 2 lings bleed off here in the beginning. Looks like we were trying to get the probe but didn't quite get it. Sunken's, or Creep Clone is going to start now, but we already have, what is this, 8 Zealots in our base with a probe. There's just as many Zealots as lings here right now. Doing a decent job using the kind of the wall from the creep, but we're just going to get overwhelmed, I feel like, without any Sunkens already prepped here. Creep Clone gets targeting, goes down. Lings with the drones kind of drill on top of this and manage to kill a few of the Zealots. But like I said, it's going to be a while before Johnek can get here, and it's just going to be a non-stop rally of Zealots already. And yeah, just like that, Zzero's going to go ahead and leave the game. Johnek will follow, so a quick 1-0 here for 24H. Alright, I think Johnek picks yellow as well. I feel like I've seen him as yellow every single game. But okay, this time we have Zzzero spawning at 12 o'clock as Zerg, his teammate 9 o'clock as Terran. Imagine double toss again at 424H here. Positions are a little bit better, so there's the thunder and lightning I was talking about. Positions are a little bit better this time for Team Zzzero here, so we'll see this plays out a little bit better. Plus the Zerg's pretty far away as well, so we have much more time to react to bullets and stuff coming his way. See if the opener is any different. I actually would like to see mech against double Protoss if possible. I know it's kind of a pain, especially with a Zerg teammate, because it can be a little hard for Zerg against Protoss, right? Lings do decent against Protoss or Zealots in like small amounts, but once Zealot starts reaching a certain mass, kind of a critical mass, it becomes incredibly difficult for Lings to trade against Zealots. And the issue I feel like with fastest is just how fast you reach that critical mass of Zealots. So even if you go really heavy Ling early, it's just so many Zealots can be built up so quick that they kind of get outscaled really fast. So that's like the one thing about a Zerg teammate is if you're going mech, you're not going to get a whole lot of help early, it feels like. So we are going 3 barracks again. Probe jumps on top of the SCV. A little bit annoying, but doesn't stick to it here. Not too bad. Our Zerg, same thing. Not the same thing, sorry. We went for an earlier pull here to get Lings out much quicker. Maybe looking to prevent the cannon block from coming up this time. So a small adjustment here from Zzzero and Johnek, trying to prevent the cannon block, it looks like. Sorry, my power's flickering. Like I said, I'll say this again. If my stream lags or cuts out, I'm just going to keep going because I am recording for the upload. So I do apologize if that happens, but we'll at least have the upload pretty soon. Like tomorrow or the next day, I'll get it all uploaded onto YouTube. So here we kind of push out a little bit, trying to prevent the cannons from going down. 3 Zealots do come out right now, but decent number of Lings with 3 Marines here can actually trade really well against just the 3 Zealots. Even a forward bunker trying to prevent the cannons from going up. So much better start here for Team Zzzero already. Picks off 2 Zealots, we're going to kill the pylon here. Bunker going up to even kind of give, excuse me, a little bit of extra kind of space here to work with. Johnek is hitting a bit of a supply block. Not going to be too bad. I mean, Marine count's already scaling up pretty high. In the meantime, we're going up to 5 hatchery here for Zzzero. Gas coming down now. We have Forge Cyber Core for Dahu. And Papa... still on no gas here. Just getting a forward cannon here just for safety. So this time, finally, it feels like we're not getting blocked in. It is hard, like I said before, as Terran to prevent this from happening. A bunch of Zealots actually going to potentially run by here. Changes his mind a little bit. I like the call to kind of back off there. It can be a little bit tempting, but you would be basically a one-way trip. And if you don't get any damage, you're throwing away a lot of Zealots here. Being said, a lot of Zealots here, and only a few Lings left to cover. Not a whole lot of bio here to fight either. And this is kind of the thing, this is what I meant, right? We reach that critical mass of Zealots so fast on fastest, then it can like really surprise you how overwhelming it can get. So, losing this front, losing all of our bio here. Not looking too good right now for our Fighting Spirit team. Continuing just on the mass Ling. No bunker up right now yet, just now starting with all these Zealots coming in, so it looks like we're going to take a lot of damage. Zzzero is going to push back the army from Dahu on the other side in the meantime. Well, these Zealots getting on top of our Marines and killing the last Marine here. Gonna start chewing away at our SCVs now, and already our SCV count was a little bit behind. And you can kind of see, like, with the workers and stuff going down, you see this massive worker lead for 24H up here. We got 25 and 22 workers, then just 9 and 9. So even if we hold here, we've taken so much damage that it feels like it's going to be almost impossible to recover. Firebat's coming out, trying to hold this off. A lot of Lings here. We'll at least stop the cannons from going up, but we don't really have kind of a follow-up plan for this right now. We're just on mass Ling at the moment. And unfortunately, Johnek isn't going to be able to hold here, it looks like. Even if you're forced to like lift your CC so it doesn't die, this is permanent damage, permanent eco damage. And just barely starting the repair in time. Made me pretty nervous. We did down below 100 HP. So we are going to hold, but the damage is really, really high right now. In the meantime, Got 2 forward cannons for both of the 24H players. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to take any damage either. Or rather, Zzzero won't be able to deal any damage to either one of them. You potentially make a comeback here. Speaking out a few more drones here for Zzzero, just only at 11 drones right now though. Just continuing the last lane. Gonna go for the bust here on 6 o'clock. Firebat's doing some work against the Zealots, but they do also friendly fire and actually clean up a bunch of the Lings as well. Doing a lot of AoE damage to his own teammate. It will break the front, but a lot of goons come in from behind. 4 Lings coming in to reinforce, but right now goon count's a little bit high. Extra Zealots coming out here for Papa behind this as well. And it's not going to be enough Lings to break through here, so no damage going to be done. In the meantime, Johnek's still just in recovery mode, up to 13 workers right now. We got leg speed coming here for Dahu, extra gateways coming down. Up on the other side, we do have Templar Archives, so a lot of DT coming out here. You're going to check the front here, but there's 2 cannons and a lot of Zealots. Bunch of goons here going to catch the Overlord, supply blocking Zzzero. And it feels like we're just not able to keep up in the production anymore. Johnek taking too much damage and not being able to get to that critical bio ball that you kind of want against this this kind of early game tech, but now DT coming out. And yeah, Zzero's going to go ahead and just leave the game. Johnek as well, so that is a quick 2-0 for 24H here in the first series. Okay, moving on to the comfort zone here for Zzzero and Johnek. It's always funny to me too, when you take someone out of their map, comfort, and I get this too because it happens to me, but it's like you start moving slower because you're just not 100% confident in like what your next move is or like what you should be doing, and because of that kind of doubt and that lack of confidence, it actually makes you move a bit slower. Because one thing I notice is like Johnek, you'll see a lot of like his bio not microing or kind of idling at his front when he's playing fastest, but I know Johnek's actually a very good and fast player. So it just feels like that's just discomfort with the map being really uncomfortable for him. And it's the same for me, like if you saw my match on 76 the other day, it's like there's a lot of just kind of like floundering around, like not sure what I want to do next. So yeah, it's not just that they're like comfortable with like the builds and like what they should do, but you'll typically play better when it's a map that you know how to play. Anyway, checking out the races here. So we have Johnek, bottom right here as Terran, his teammate Zzzero playing Zerg. So we might be looking at like ZT every single game, because even on fastest they stuck to their main races, it looks like. I respect that. Meanwhile, 24H, Dahu playing Protoss, and Papa playing Zerg this game. I feel like 24H, they're pretty well-rounded. I think they kind of know the general way to play these games as well. That being said, okay, yeah, so I think we're... Are we going to second gate? Okay, we're going 2-gate here for Dahu, which is viable for sure. I was just wondering if they would go Lingoon, but it's going to be 2-gate, so a bit of early aggression going to be coming out for 24H. Meanwhile, we got the double racks coming down for Johnek. Sorry, I'm really bad about watching pull timing, so this looks like 12 pull? Like 12 pull with cut drones or something? I'm not entirely sure, actually. I kind of wish I was paying attention to the build now. It wasn't overpull, right? Maybe it was overpull. Spawning pull seems a little bit later than I feel like what you would get for overpull. Yeah, 12 pull, okay. So I'm not crazy. Johnek, so we saw this when he was playing with Lei. Very, very smart about sending his Marines to his teammate to intercept Overlords here. Hey, what's up, Lon? So 2 Marines going to come across and actually intercept the Overlord. I like this play. Obviously, killing the Overlord is huge, but it also means that we have the extra Marines on the ramp with the Lings to hold if we need to. And against Ling Zealot... Sorry, my power might actually go out, guys. It's flickering a lot right now. But yeah, with Ling Zealot potentially being aggressive here, having the extra DPS from the Marines on the ramp can be really, really strong. And getting supply block this early just hurts really bad. We're at 12 drones, 17 out of 9 here. Johnek is the Overlord Slayer. He does this really consistently. He did in the other games as well. Lair is finished very, very quick for Papa, though. We went Lair before speed. So even though we're set up pretty well defensively, and we're not going to get our ramp busted anytime soon, we don't have an answer for the really quick Muta tech. He does actually see the Muta, so I assume we're going to get an Evo Chamber relatively soon. Cannon's actually going up on the ramp for Dahu. This is a really common play as well when you have a teammate rushing to Muta like this. Well, the Ling's kind of letting the Zealots up on the ramp a bit. A little bit of a mistake here from Zzzero, and it caused the trade to go really, really poorly. It's still fine, like he's gonna hold. It's just you wanted to trade a little bit better, I feel like. You definitely don't want to have to pull drones, and now I have Lings inside the base as well, which is a pain. Overlord actually gonna run into the end in the meantime, so this is really, really painful. Bit of bad luck here for Zzzero. Maybe just being taxed on the multitasking too much. In the meantime, Johnek's got a little bit of bio coming out. Stim gonna finish by the time he gets up here. And it might not be on time. And it's only 2 Zealots with nothing in production, so there is a potential of busting up this ramp right now. A very good micro running around from Papa here and actually picking off a drone. Evo Chamber is starting as the mutas are starting, so I think the timing on this is actually going to be pretty decent. A little bit of hesitation from Johnek. We have an extra SCV coming as well. Don't know. This is going to be really, really close. Firing up the ramp, yeah. So it's a little bit tough because you're going to miss the shots, obviously. It's going to lower your DPS. Good probe pool here from Dahu getting on top of this. Ling's coming in after the bio is going to be dead. Going to pick off a couple drones, but yeah, really, really good hold here from Dahu. We're not going to die. We'll lose some probes, but he should be fine here. It's close. I mean, it's close. We're losing a lot of probes. Cannon actually is going to go down. There's no units in production, but the second cannon's going to finish. Continuing to just kind of drill and body block really well. Jumping on top of the cannon. this is close, but he's just barely going to hold. Knocking him down to just 9 workers, but like I said, he's going to hold. Spore's going to come up and actually keep Zzzero alive here. So all in all, pretty good for Team Zzzero. Part of the issue is going to be Muta, but we do have Bio that'll trade really well against the Muta. After doing all this damage to the Protoss, actually stemming and running up here and picking off this cannon, targeting the probes very smartly, I feel like, because you're never going to be able to kill the cannon, so any probe kills you get at this point are huge. Knock them down just to 6 probes. So, kind of a crazy early game here, but I think coming out, it's definitely favoring Team Zzzero, but we don't have any bio at home for the Muta flying into our base right now, and this is going to be 6 Muta. So getting on top of the production is going to be pretty devastating potentially here. eBay gets cancelled, factory was on the way, SCVs are going to start getting targeted here now. So good call from Papa, just flying across the map and testing the Terran here to make sure that he's not cutting any corners. And unfortunately for Johnek, he was kind of cutting some corners, a little bit slow on the eBay. Focusing really hard on getting aggressive to get damage done on the Protoss. And these Muta actually might just kill Terran. I mean, when you got the Muta on top of your production like this, it's so painful. Looks like there's a bit of a Ling run by. Killed maybe 1 or 2 drones. Not totally sure, but we're just on 9 drones here for Papa. If Team Zzzero can stabilize, then they're going to be in great shape. But it might be really hard to stabilize here with the Mutas in our base. Still 5 Muta with another 2 and 3 on the way here, so it's going to be 8 Muta total. If we can just get our eBay up, get a few turrets up, collect our bio ball, then we can stabilize. That being said, enough damage has been done that, well, not yet. Dahu's still at like half the worker count, but Papa maybe can continue buying time. Spire is coming down, and so this is where it can get a little bit dicey for the Zerg player. Because as you're fighting the bio and you're trading off Mutas, the other Zerg is continuing to build on Muta. That being said, he actually engages the bio and cleans up all the bio here. Still on 8 Muta. No turrets on the way yet. And Johnek might actually just be dead. Kinda crazy. Yeah, just 2 Marines and 2 medics coming out here to try and fight, but we're not able to clean up the Muta, so our entire mineral line's gonna die. Ling's gonna run across and maybe test the Protoss again, hoping to find something. But this is not gonna be enough Muta kills. Zzero's not gonna be able to catch up on the worker count, or the Muta count, and we're also behind on workers. Good reaction here from Dahu. Go ahead and getting the probe block here. Just understanding that staying alive is incredibly important. Like, obviously it's important, but in this case it's sacrificing ego to just do whatever you need to do to make sure you don't die here. Being extra safe. Definitely a good thing here. Even the 2 drones here to make sure that there's no more Ling run-bys, so really good adaptation from 24H. Not looking uncomfortable at all on Fighting Spirit. PT now on the way for Dahu. Muta started here for Zzzero. I'm gonna try to get across here, but the CC is gonna be dead before we get there, and that's actually gonna completely remove Johnek from the game. Throwing down scans here. So just kind of seeing what they're working with. Sees that they have Templar Archives. Wait, did the Muta die? Yeah, I think our Muta died. And GG is called. Game 1 actually going to 24H here on Fighting Spirit. Very well played by them, I feel like. Like I said, not looking uncomfortable at all on the map. Alright, we're gonna hop into Game 2 on Fighting Spirit. Spawning in the bottom right, we have Johnek. Baron. His teammate top left, Zzzero as Zerg. Dahu once again Protoss. Papa, his teammate, Zerg again. Okay, I'm not super familiar with how positioning affects the map, but I feel like cross spawn from a teammate. I feel like this would favor 24H because they're gonna have the early game presence, and trying to walk, like trying to get bio all the way across here, not as easy. Even walking the Marines early, like Johnek likes to do, the travel distance is a fair amount longer. So I'm curious to see if he still does that in this position. You do run the risk of getting intercepted by Lings, I think, a bit easier in these spawns. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I'm also curious to see if Dahu just goes for the 2-gate again, because it worked so well that game, or if we maybe want to tech this time. I imagine since we won this game that we'll do the same thing. Typically, if it's not a map that you play a whole lot, something works for you, then you just do it again, right? No reason to get too fancy. But we'll see. As I said, they don't look uncomfortable at all playing on Fighting Spirit here. So I wonder if they have multiple strategies prepared. This looks like it was... Are we overpull? We were overpull this time. Sorry, we are getting a 2-gate here again from Dahu. Oh, again from Johnek. He seems to like playing bio. The only time I've ever seen him play mech was when it was ZT versus ZT. So I wonder if bio is just kind of known to be the better play against Zerg Toss. It's interesting because I would have thought that mech would still be really good. Like Vulture early game and then having like Tank Goliath later just sounds good to me, but maybe Vulture just not so good in case it is like Ling Dragoon, I guess would be pretty bad. Biostandard versus ZP, gotcha. Yeah, because I guess if you're going Vulture, you're having a hard time with the goons. So what are you going to do? Tank, which is basically useless early game, and then into Goliath or something, which scales well, but it means you're conceding so much of the early game that I guess it wouldn't really be worth it. Excuse me. Zzzero again going for the 2-hatch build, whereas Papa once again going for the layer before speed. The exact same thing coming out from both teams here. He's just kind of running around looking for something to do. We did do the 2 Marines across this time again, and this time Papa did not lose his Overlord. So small adjustment there from him, but like I said, I like having these Marines defensively anyway. I'm scouting here and seeing that we actually have the 2-gate forge coming down for Dahu. Looks like again we're going to pressure Zzzero here at the ramp. This time I'd like to see if he defends a little bit better. We did kind of let the Zealots in last time and they got a much better trade that I feel like they would normally have. Sorry, 1 second. Been losing my voice. Sorry about that. My voice isn't getting stronger, it's getting weaker, guys. Yeah, a big round of drones here from Zzzero. So we're gonna go up to like, what is this, 15 drones, 14 drones? So we're gonna have a pretty good drone lead here on Papa. Once again, we do see the Spire timing. And we're just playing defensive again for Zzzero and Johnek here. SCV dies, seeing the Zealots end here and just running around the map. Zzzero moving out in case he needs to run to his teammate and help. The medics are coming out now. Stem getting close to finish here. Marines moving into the mineral line, I guess for Muta in case it buys some time. Evo Chamber, Creep Colony coming down. It's interesting that Zzzero likes to play really Ling heavy. I feel like I almost always see you trying to match the Muta. So there's got to be a reason for this. Obviously they're going to have the like early game kind of presence here with the extra Lings. And he's actually kind of like winning the 1v2 here before the bio shows up. But again, really intelligently by 24H getting the cannons here on the ramp to defend his teammate and building his own cannons. So it's like kind of a reverse turtling. 24H plays for the early game control a bit, and then they end up conceding the kind of like mid-ish game, going into their own turtle style and relying on the Muta to get value. And the Muta already get value just by being made, right? Because you're getting spores and stuff out of your opponent, so that's already like some drone kills essentially, right? And a fair amount of like mineral investment. So as you can see, we're actually down 1 worker here. Cannons 4 and 5 going up here for pop on the ramp. So this does not seem breakable at all. This time eBay down much earlier. We're actually halfway done with a +1 attack as well. And now the Muta are just going to fly around the map and see if they can get any additional value here. Kind of an odd placement from the bio, maybe hoping to catch like a move command of Mutas here. Possibly going towards Zzzero, but Muta are flying across looking to just protect Dahu. Making even more cannons, going up to 6 cannons here, and a robo. This is a lot of mineral investment into the cannons. I mean, they're not going to die, but I wonder if we can just kind of respond to this with an expansion from Johnek or something soon. Because we've spent so much money on cannons now. There's like no army on the field at all. We have 2 zealots total for Dahu. Building a robo in both bases and a robo base, so we're just gonna turtle with a rear cannon on the ramps here. It's an interesting strategy. Definitely not something I've seen before. I don't really know what the late game plan is going to be. Spire coming down here for Zzzero. Eco looking pretty decent. Bozerg's on 15 workers. Yeah, I'm curious what the kind of in-game plan for Dahu is going to be, or 24H here. Because right now it's just Muta and then defensive Reaver setup. So I guess we're going to be looking for Muta Reaver drop, potentially. But good setup here for Johnek not having to worry about the Muta. And there's only 1 gas, so you don't have to go like crazy with the turrets like you normally would in the 1v1 matchup. He's gonna fly in here and dive on top of the first turret and kill it. Bio's gonna show up. Start picking off some SCVs here. Kind of like 2 Muta went down, I think. 2 more getting very, very low, but not quite dying. Picking off some of the bio. Comes back around and picks off more bio here. Good micro from Papa. Picks off the SCV, building the sci-fi. And really, really good micro and trading here from Papa so far. Knocking Johnek down just to 17 workers versus the 30 from Dahu. A little bit of a sneaky, like semi-sneaky expansion here. We got the downhill gas from Papa with a cannon cover. So we're just going to long distance mine this gas just for the very slight additional gas income, I guess, while we wait for Dahu to get up cannon so we can take this base. Very, very odd, interesting, kind of innovative play here from 24H. Playing their own style and seeming to make it work so far. Muta looking maybe for a little bit of a poke. 2 more turrets just about to finish here, so with 3 turrets here plus the bio, this will definitely get chased off. Another Muta goes down, traded for just 1 Marine. We have a drop ship here for Johnek out, but we do have Reavers defensively set up if needed. Doing a whole lot of long distance mining, so even though we're on 21 drones, this is a lot going into just the 1 geyser here. Second and third base coming down for Zzzero. Good chase micro here from Papa, and also has the upgrade advantage, another part of the advantage of having the extra spire, or the faster spire, sorry. Oh, is that normal? Wow, I've never seen it before. Okay. My bad, my bad. It's a good trade there for Papa, and they're actually going to scout here and find this. We had, the Reavers come in and kill a few of the drones on the gas, so disrupting the gas mining here. And now the Reaver Muta coming in to push into Papa, or not Papa, Zzzero. This is actually looking pretty tough. Like, this Reaver Muta setup against Muta Bio looking very scary. And it's able to work because of the kind of more Spire or Muta focused build from Papa so far. So he's gonna have, he has the Muta advantage and the upgrade advantage as well. No upgrade even coming here for Zzzero, so we won't be matching that anytime soon. A couple Scourge now finally coming down. Radiate comes down on top of these Muta. Definitely a hard time reacting here. Staying stacked, taking a ton of damage. So with this, I feel like Zzzero can possibly fight the Muta. And with the extra Scourge coming out as well. Reavers get picked up and die in the shuttle. So really, really good trade now for Zzzero and Johnek. Yeah, that Irradiate was pretty huge. Papa had a very hard time separating his irradiated Muta there. DC now coming down for Johnek. We're looking at just kind of Goon Reaver here from Dahu now. Might need to be thinking about expanding here relatively soon, as he's going to mine out a lot quicker than Johnek, since Johnek SCV count has been a lot lower, and we lost a lot of SCVs earlier as well. But this coming up to 12 o'clock here, it's going to clean out this expansion. I don't think we're going to have an answer in time. Also the additional Reaver on the way. Scourge maybe going to look for kind of a sneaky hit here on the shuttle, see if we can pull that off. Another Irradiate and Bio picking off more of the Muta. So it feels like the Muta count can potentially get really out of control here for Zzzero soon. Living on top of this Reaver and targeting it. Good pickup here from Dahu. A lot of the Mutas here going down for Zzzero, but still with the Muta lead, especially with the Bio coming in. Huge Reaver shot. Gives up a ton of that Bio. So we are going to lose the expansion, but we clean up the army. And we do at least have this expansion kind of up and running a little bit here. Not mining the gas, just focusing on our mineral mining right now. CC finished here for Johnek. Okay, Scourge doing protecting the CC, just in case. Feels like the Irradiates have like really put in work these games. 4 Scourge jump in, they managed to kill 1 Muta here. Gonna stem forward, jump on top of this. Shooting our own cannon, trying to get our Reaver down here, because we did unfortunately get our Reaver walled in. With the gas going down, feels like the gas income from Zzzero is just gonna absolutely take over now. And I don't think Papa's gonna be able to keep up anymore. Another big irradiate goes down. Good split this time, actually. Really good split. But a follow-up irradiate, and then we're kind of falling apart with that one. Having a really hard time getting our splits off. In the meantime, Bio picking off the mutas as well. Now just down to 4 muta with less income, or 6 muta. Means that we cannot protect our mineral line anymore. We may have the upgrade advantage, but we do not have the muta count advantage. Or at least it was similar, but they were all very low HP. So with these muta going down, I feel like we're going to be calling GG here now, because we have no answer anymore. Yeah, GG is called. Ish. Papa leaves the game. Who maybe want to play it out a little bit, gets a pretty good pick off on a lot of the bio there. Maybe at least wants to go for a push here and see what he can get done. We'll rumble. In the meantime, we got Johnek going for a counterattack here, which can be really big, just denying the expansion at this point. Is pretty massive, because Dahu is about to mine out of his main. As you can see, we're basically dried out now. Yeah, he's just going to go and leave the game. So game 2 on Fighting Spirit is secured by Zzzero and Johnek. Now going to go into game 3 on Fighting Spirit here between 24H and Zzzero. Okay, we might be doing a little bit of TVV. There's a lot of similar ugly colors here on this one. Is this a race swamp? I actually can't tell. They swapped races, right? Or am I crazy? Oh yeah, no, I can see it. Yeah, okay, so Dahu playing Zerg this time. Papa playing Toss. Interesting. So same races, but they swapped which player is playing. I wonder if they've actually been playing random. But I think this is the first time we've seen Dahu play something besides Protoss in the entire tournament. I'm curious to see if they kind of go for the same kind of like odd style again. Would they like turtle with reavers and cannons and all this stuff, or maybe we want to try and match a little bit more what our opponents are doing. And already we have a big difference here. Dahu going for a 9 hatch, so I think we're going to get a 9-9. Maybe a little bit of indecision, not knowing we wanted to gas check or potentially start a gas really early. On the flip side, we have 9 pool? Overpool? Overpool. I think we're looking at overpool. We're gonna get the 9-9 out of Dahu. When we were watching Lei play yesterday, Lei also really favored the 9-9 in a few of his games. (9-9) as opposed to like the overpool or something like that is going to get you a fair amount of lings earlier, but I think the eco is going to be a bit less, right? You'll have the extra larva and stuff in the beginning of the game, but your eco doesn't scale super well if you're not replacing drones. Your initial 6-lings will be slower, or, well, the 9 pull is going to get his 6-lings much faster, obviously, right? But then your hatchery is going to be done with the spawning pool, and you can go 8-lings very quickly. You kind of have that early extra larva production for your lings. So as you can see, I start our 8-lings here, as the 6-lings are coming on, or I guess 4-lings in this case. Zzzero wanting to go for the extra drone. I don't mind that. On the flip side though, or on the other side of things, we have Papa going for Dragoon this time. So definitely playing much different here already, this 24H. This Overlord probably gonna die. As we know, losing our first Overlord like this hurts a lot. So, sorry, Bozerg's gonna be kind of massing Ling here, which is very heavy. Johnek actually going mech this time as well. So just the game very, very different in general here. Going 3 fact mech, so it's gonna be a very heavy vulture here in the beginning. Which can do really, really well against Lings. Still sending up our classic 1 Marine here without fail. Always count on that from Johnek. Ling's getting caught on the outside here. Is this our second Overlord death? We have 1 kill here, and I don't see the other Overlord here, so I think this is our second Overlord getting caught. This like really, really hurts Zzzero here. Going up to 3 hatch, dropping a creep colony here on the ramp. Should be pretty safe against a bust. Vulture's coming out here for Johnek. One looking like it got stuck a little bit here, which is kind of a big deal. You want the 2 vultures together so you can be one-shotting Lings. Barry notices and fixes it. Gonna get intercepted by these 2 goons. That's a dead vulture. Second vulture coming out, actually taking a volley as well. Tank starts now. We've almost got our vulture speed. Wing speed very late here for Zzzero also. Losing those 2 Overlords definitely hurt a lot. Now we have 4 goons here, and with all these Lings down here, and the supply block losing the Overlords makes it where Zzzero can't push out and fight these Lings at all. Mines are going to get cancelled. Tank does come out. Got 3 vultures behind it as well, so Tank can stay kind of outside of the wall here and pick away at them. Gotta be careful not to lose this tank, but this should be good enough to hold. Okay, we're gonna let this depot die. And with that, we now have 6 goons coming up. The goons jumping on top of this tank, not quite getting pulled back in time, so the tank goes down. And with the machine shop down, we have no mines or follow-up tanks now to deal with these goons. In the meantime, on the other side, Zzzero does actually flood enough Lings to break through. And Dahu had gone back into gas to get his lair up and coming. And now with these goons getting up the ramp and jumping on top of these vultures, they're going to get a really good trade. So even if the Lings do come in and clean this up, losing all of our mech and just getting a reset here hurts a lot. But we have a lot of goons and Lings coming in now, jumping on top of this, and all the Lings from Zzzero are going to get cleaned up. Tank pops out just in time to get surrounded and die, right? Targeted by the goons, it's going to go down. Shuttle shows up, I guess just for micro, if we want a micro. Probably means we have Reaver coming soon. Or we just want to show our shuttle off and leave, I guess. More goons getting picked away at here from the Lings coming in for Zzzero. But we have vultures rallied on top of the goons now, on top of our production, and this factory is about to go down before a vulture even gets out, and I just don't think this can be cleaned up anymore. Maybe a little bit of a kind of underreaction from Johnek there, not getting on the repair in time, not keeping the DPS of his tank going to pick off a couple more goons, and just kind of letting them chop down this depot and get inside. And with more Lings flooding in from Dahu from behind, I don't think we're going to be able to clean this up. We're just not enough Ling production, and we've been on top of our factory production this whole time. So Johnek's SCV is beginning to die off here. As the Spire halfway done now for Dahu, as we're just on 3 hatch Ling for Zzzero here. And I think that's going to do it for Fighting Spirit. 24H actually going to be able to take the 2-1 win on Fighting Spirit, which is Johnek and Zzero's main map. We've actually had very, very few upsets as far as people losing their own map. I think we've had 3 cases of it now. Myself and Soviet, we lost to Banana and TT1 on BGH. We managed to beat one of the fastest teams on fastest, and now we have 24H beating the Fighting Spirit team on Fighting Spirit. And GG. Next we have BGH, which is 24H's main map. So already with the 4-1 lead here, jumping into 24H's main map. Just looking really, really solid all around. Let's see, Johnek once again on his patented yellow Terran, spawning at the 3 o'clock position. His teammate, Zzzero on the bottom left as Zerg. And then we have 24H Dahu spawning at 9 o'clock as Protoss. Papa spawning bottom right corner as Zerg. So not a lot of race variation so far in the games today. I think Papa was playing random when we played against him, so I don't know if he's picking Zerg or picking Toss or what's happened. Or if random is just working out like this for him. Okay, it looks like it's going to be Bio here for Johnek. Zzzero, we did do Overlord, so we may be looking at an overpull here, whereas we have the 9 pull for Papa. Okay, not going to be the overpull. Maybe 11 or 12 pull, we'll see here. Meanwhile, Dahu is going to go up to 2 gate, most likely 2 gate being super standard for BGH. So, Goon is also very, very good on BGH, especially because there's no ramp. It actually makes Goon even more powerful on BGH than Fighting Spear a lot of the time. Okay, so we actually went 11 hatch and pull. Not something I've ever seen before. I'm curious to see how this will work out. Ling's coming out for Papa here, as it was a 9 pull. Like 10 hatch 9, or 11 hatch 9, or sorry, 11 hatch 10 pull. Could be pretty vulnerable here. One thing about like the late pull timings when you're against a 9 pull is sometimes it can force a sunken, and if you have to go sunken against it, you're already just kind of taking the loss here. Your gas income's going to be behind. You have like a slight drone advantage that kind of gets done away with by making the sunken. Not just because you lose the drone, but that's also, you know, another 125 mils dumped into a sunken. That being said, the Lings went to 3 o'clock here. I'm deciding not to dive in here with the SCV and the 3 Marines. Johnek was a bit supply blocked, fortunately for him. So Zzzero is going to go and drop these sunken here as he starts his Lings. We are up 3 drones, but it's going to be the 1 hatch layer build for Papa again. Not really an uncommon build on BGH either. And we just didn't start the sunken. We didn't see the Lings coming. Ling speed finishes, and they're going to dive on top of our Lings. We're going to have to pull drones and try to fight within this little choke. Losing any drones here is very painful. So there goes 1 drone. Sunken is going to finish, and this is going to chase more. So losing 1 drone actually not too bad. If we lost like 2 or 3 drones, then it starts to be kind of crappy, but with only a single drone going down, we're actually still okay. We're up 2 drones. The issue is we see the layer finished here, and Spire starting for Papa. Cannon's coming up, another very common strategy here on BGH, as well as on fastest. And a lot of Fighting Spirit players are not going to be used to getting cannon in like this, I feel like. But it's very common on both the other maps. SCV count also, we're cutting a fair amount of SCVs, but again, we're kind of supply block. Johnek definitely showing some discomfort with the map here. We have Cybercore coming down, and he can get away with this because the Lings do kind of have the early control, plus we have this like nice wall set up. So we can cut Zealots go into tech now, because neither player can get out very easily. Factory coming down. Ling's going to jump on top of these Marines and actually pick off several of the Marines. Very good. This does expose the factory, but we're not going to jump on top of the SCV here. Coming back for it maybe, but the Marines didn't move forward, so we're going to pull back. Fourth cannon going down, so the Bio's not going to be able to get out until tanks. Ling's not going to be able to get out against this, plus the Ling count here. As well as the Spire going to be finishing up soon. And we're going to need an Evo Chamber very, very soon here. Even a pylon going down here potentially to block in Zzzero. Citadel for Dahu, so just going very tech heavy. Also very, very common is to block a Terran with cannons and go straight to DT into Templar. Especially if they open bio. If they open bio, then it's DT to delay even further. And then when Storm gets out, it's just, as we've all seen before, Storm against bio is pretty devastating. Mita's coming out here, gonna kill this Overlord instead of flying across. Gonna get our 3 spores up here soon. Going back into drones here for Zzzero. We're not mining any gas, so don't really know what our kind of late game plan is going to be. Lings are not going to be able to break through this very easily, especially with the cannon coming up. We'll be able to kill this gateway at least, but I don't think we have enough. Well, we definitely don't have enough Lings to break through this after. So the gateway's just going to restart here. The second cannon coming up behind it. Muta here starting to chip away at Johnek. This is a refinery. They're just now coming down. We ended up making defensive bunkers inside of our mineral line. And yeah, I feel like Johnek just... You can see his discomfort with the different maps. The Muta is going to keep doing damage here. Another depot coming down. Johnek also supply blocked many, many times this game. We have siege mode finishing with our 1 tank, but can't really push out onto the map here to even chip away at this. Actually not even going DT, just going straight to High Templar. I think this is totally fine in this case. No point rushing to the DT since the Terran's not able to push out right now. Sitting on top of this academy, and range is actually just barely going to finish in time, so at least Johnek has that going for him. That will help a lot with the Muta. They're coming down, double gas mining here for Zzzero. So, if enough time passes, like Zzzero is doubling the drone count here. And he's going to have the double gas income for a while. So he can, in theory, eventually catch up to Papa's Muta count here. And we have like the spores and stuff to prevent counterattacks and things like that. So there is late game potential here for Team Zzzero. What are we watching? It's in the title, Soju. Learn to read. What's going on? I'm losing my voice. We have 5 Templar and 3 Zealots, 1 Dragoon coming in here for Dahu. Now the tank does get picked off, so the tank's not actually going to be able to... Yeah, we're just going to leave the game. Yeah, the tech advantage pretty big. He wasn't dead, but he's obviously very uncomfortable here. So, game 1 on BGH going to 24H. Let's see if Johnek's able to adapt a little bit better. I think that was like one of his first games ever on BGH, so not super comfortable, understandably. I don't know if they were able to practice much. I think they had a hard time finding time to practice. They had a lot going on between Johnek and Zzzero there, so. That being said, Johnek spawning top right here as Terran. His teammate Zzzero, 12 o'clock position. As Zerg. Zerg here for Papa again, and Dahu here again as Protoss. Positions, definitely... Would I say it's better? I think it's a little bit better. Actually, yeah, it's definitely better for Team Zzzero here. A little bit further cannon distance for Dahu. He has to travel very far if he wants to drop cannons to cannon them in, so they do have that going for him. And the Zergs will kind of be matching a little bit, so if Johnek's able to get bio out, if he wants to go bio again, which based on the depot placement does look like it's going to be bio, and that seems to be his comfort build. He's gone for bio every single game so far. Then, with Dahu having to travel so far to get cannons here at the choke, you can fight it a bit with the bio and potentially fight this off if Zzero's able to hold the Zerg off. Meanwhile, both players going for the same pull timing. So the Lings should be like relatively matched, right? And the other thing too is the cannons have to be here. They can't do cannons back here very easily. They still can, but it does at least open this pathway here for Terran to move out. Once you get a strong enough bio ball, because bio does scale really well into kind of the early, like mid-ish game. Stim bio does great against Protoss Zerg before Storm Tech or anything like that. But if they do look to kind of cannon here, it does mean that it does block off Zzzero, so they can at least pivot to either Zzzero or Johnek to hit. And the counter distance is very long, as you can see. If he walks down this pathway and has to go all the way around, it is a very long travel distance to counter. We'll see. We'll see how this plays out. Lings probably just going to do the whole stare at each other for a second here around mid. Either player will want to engage here with the proper concave setup. You kind of want to set up this like line concave and make sure your Lings can get in there and attack much quicker. If you come in like single file, or if you got Lings in behind the other, then their DPS is going to kick in later. The Zealot does make a huge difference because the Zealot's going to tank a lot of damage while the Lings are getting their DPS off. The Marine's here to fight though, and actually very well played by these players. Not losing this Marine as the Lings try to jump on top of the Marine. And yeah, we do have the cannon coming down here in mid. Lings do unfortunately kind of leave the bio here exposed, so they're going to get picked off. Yeah, with the Lings being cleaned up from Zzzero, this is going to go down to these cannons coming up. But the cannons coming up down in this position really isn't that bad. You can just go into Factory. We're going to go and drop the Academy. But you can go into Factory in this position and just play like a 2-Rax Academy Factory push, and it's fine. You'll still have to deal with the Templar tech, or the Archives tech, but it's not too bad. You can still like help each other, right? That's kind of the big thing. That being said, Zzzero does not have a Sunken up right now, so he is in a little bit of danger if they decided to commit to 12 o'clock. And Bio's also very weak early against the Lings. I think this pretty much applies on every map. Lings can pretty easily get this round on the Bio before you have a decent count, and before you have stem and range and medics and all that good stuff. Once you reach that point, the bio does really, really well against Ling though. Throw in a fire batter too and you're golden. Sunken did come down here for Zzzero. Oh, this is a decent number of Zealot Ling. I feel like we should be fine. Especially with an additional 4 Lings coming, so I don't think we're in danger of dying here. Evo chamber even for the wall here, I actually like this. I do this sometimes myself. 44H, gonna see that and turn around. Cancel the Evo, get back to mining. Okay, we're actually gonna redrop the Evo here. Interesting. Bio count, we're up to 3 racks now. Johnek doing a bit better at keeping up with workers this game as well. They do not want to push into this though. There's a lot of cannons here. And see, Dahu even committing the extra resources into the cannons here. This is part of why you want to get really quick Factory, is to kind of punish this. But they're actually going to run around and try to break, but like I said, we have the additional 3 cannons here. Even a 4th cannon coming down, and a 5th cannon here around center. But you have Factory tech on the way, so if you're going up to tanks, you don't need to commit to this. Ling's running pretty far ahead of the bio, so a lot of them are going to die. And we're just going to try and commit to this, and it's just not going to be a good trade. And they're actually just going to call GG with a counterattack coming in. I feel like, not to harp on them too much, but you have a Factory finishing. let him spend all of this money on cannons, and then your tanks clean this up. Behind this, we have a Citadel only halfway done. I guess Spire finished here, but we have the Evo Chamber, so that's why I finished it. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. But this is only 11 drones. I think they could have just played it out. Their eco was looking much better off. Because what was, let me check, Zzero's drone count here. Oh, we're down to 5 drones. Did we lose drones? I guess we were just playing really low drone count the whole time. Okay, so Zzzero actually not in the best shape either. But kind of as I was saying, like, Bio Tank does scale really well into the mid-ish game. Templar attack would have been a little bit late, but... Okay, it is what it is. That's a 2-0 for 24H. So they actually take the overall series 6-1. Really, really well played by 24H today. So let's get those scores updated, and then I'll post the overall scores. So as you can see, 24H pretty much dominating their group at 16 points here. Taking both wins, and both wins pretty decisively. And then in Group B, you have Banana TT1 kind of barely beating out myself and Soviet. We did take a big win over the fastest team, but coming up 1 point short, so the finals will be between 24H and TT1 Banana. And there will not be a third place match, it will just go to myself and Soviet because of the scores.